Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is a brand new project that I want to introduce you to. Ray, this is my personal 1996 GMC 1500 truck. I want to get back into autocrossing and I want to do some road course stuff, and honestly man, I just want to go back out and have fun. A lot of you guys are building trucks to go out and do fun stuff with, or you guys built them last year and you're out having fun, and I'm just in here trying to sell parts and work on other people's trucks, and I feel like I'm missing out. If you guys know me much or know much about like the truck I had before this, it started in a very similar fashion. Bought a used truck that had a 383 in it, it had a 700 R4, and then I slowly progressed with it and kind of got it to like this really top tier motorsport vehicle that I built over the course of 8 years. And looking back now, this may be a bit of a romantic idea or thought, but I think I had a lot more fun in the beginning. Some fun is learning and walking a learning curve with like the things that you're doing. Now, I can't like fake it and say that I don't know how to make this thing the best thing right off the bat. I don't want to build the most competitive thing. I want to build something that I can drive, Sean can drive it, Robbie can drive it, Dylan can drive it. Let's just go out and have a lot of fun on one of the weekend events, like a Pro Touring Truck Shootout event, or even like an STCA autocross morning or something like that. So that's the purpose of this truck. We've named this truck Ray, not R-A-Y, but R-E-I, which is a Japanese word meaning zero. The only reason I'm naming that is because we're starting at ground zero, bottom level, and let's work our way up throughout the course of even a couple years with this truck. So today's Saturday, and one of the things that I want to do with this truck is work on it just like any normal guy would, which is also me, right? So you see some of these videos of killer trucks. Well, that's all customer trucks. That's not me. That's not my money. I'm a blue collar guy just making normal money. So truth be told, this is a truck that I borrowed money from the bank for. I'm gonna work on it only when I have free time, which is a couple nights a week maybe, and then a lot on Saturday and Sunday. So it's gonna be a real deal. We've even set up like the assembly side of the shop to be more of a garage, so to speak. I got my toolbox over here. I don't have a welder over here. I don't have any real fabrication stuff. So I'm gonna have to do it the same as anybody would in their home garage. I can mock up stuff and I can take it to the fab shop, which is another fab shop, and have Dylan weld it, or I can weld it. But it's trying to simulate what's possible and just really going out on the weekend like I'm doing and having fun again with a pickup truck. So enjoy this video. We're gonna dive right into it.
All right, so this is day one with our new truck, Ray, and I'm gonna work on it on my back, on flat concrete, just like you guys would. So we'll get it up on the ramps and see what it looks like underneath. This is my first weekend messing with this truck, and honestly, I'm pretty excited about it. It feels kind of normal. That might sound weird, but you know, when you run a business that messes with vehicles every day, and I live on the same property and work in the same building, it's really hard for me to feel like any of this is just my hobby anymore. So I've tried to kind of isolate myself to this one spot at the shop and make this kind of feel like my home garage. But I'm going to start yanking stuff out of the interior. And it's a good opportunity for me to explain what I'm going to do with the interior and what problems I see with this interior or with some of the like steering, seating, shifting positions. So I'm going to just go ahead and show you this right off the bat. This is a ProFab column from I Did It. I Did It makes aluminum housing columns that are specifically for like race applications where you would want to save weight. They got a 3/4 stainless shaft in the middle, which is pretty industry standard for any race column. And we do have like the right joints where we can cross drill this and put an AN bolt through the U joint. But I Did It for years has made these ProFab columns for like Miatas, Civics. I've seen them on there for Fox Body Mustangs, and they make a bolt-in application for all those vehicles if it's like more of a race situation. So we are going to work with I Did It on this truck. It gave me this 35-inch column, and then in trade, what I'm going to do is I'm going to design the bracketry and figure out a way to give them the files and drawings so that they can manufacture a bolt-in race column for the OBS trucks. So being new to this platform, I did not know that there was necessarily a different column between whatever it is, 88 all the way up to 98. This truck is a 96 GMC. And its column, I know from looking under the dash, is completely different than the 90 or 91 truck that we've been messing with here in the shop. It has a steering column that goes all the way through the firewall. This appears to have two different bolt patterns. So there's like an upper and a lower that bolt in under the dash, and then the steering shaft goes out from under the dash and through the firewall. So I do know that my application will be a little bit different design than the Hurley truck. So what we'll have to do is use one of the Hurley trucks we got around here to help prototype for that column. If you guys remember when I first introduced you to the truck, it's a 96, but someone put a 90 454 SS interior in it. Well, it may not be 454 SS, but I know that the seats are. Which I love the square dashes. I like them way much more than round dashes. It's probably, I'm the only one that maybe likes that. But let's go look. What they didn't do is, since there's column differences, they did not take out the 96 column. They just put the 90 dash around it, and it doesn't necessarily fit. So let's check that out. So if you look right away, you can tell by the shape of the keys that this is a newer truck column. They obviously didn't put the covers around the column because it didn't fit the dash. These things are just kind of like wedged in here a little bit, and the headlight switch is not hooked up. They're still using the 96 headlight switch down here where the fuse block is supposed to go. So I'm going to tear into this a little bit and get this column out of here, and we'll look at one more issue that I have found since trying to drive this truck around a little bit. Somebody put those seats on the wrong sides. The driver's on passenger, passenger's on driver. Cool. So I went ahead and took the seats and seatbelt retractors out since we're going to be running race seats and a bolted harness bar. So those parts I don't have yet, but we're going to be sourcing those from another friend who owns a shop in Nashville area. They built some really killer seat brackets, mounting brackets, so the bases that are specific to this floor, and then they make a harness bar that bolts into this too. So I'm kind of making room kind of as I go along. So before I dug into the column, I wanted to get the seats out of my way. So since we're going to be having a harness bar in the back, although I really like these little cubbies, I'm going to have to pull this one out of here. So I'll get that out of here now. Okay, you guys can see a little bit now of how this column bolts in. So like I said, this one's new to me because it's a newer model truck, but it's got a 2-bolt pattern towards the bottom of the column, and then it's got the more traditional 2-bolt flange at the top. So what's unique about this column that I have not seen before is how the steering shaft connects inside the cabin. And then I don't know what's missing here. I can only assume there was some sort of support bearing either at the firewall or outside the firewall, because believe it or not, my column is hooked up. It is hooked up to the steering box, and that's the kind of crap we got going on. So we're going to fix all this. It's not the most ideal, you know, but I already assumed that I would rewire this truck.
You're going to.
Yep.
Where's the wire?
So real quick, before I go yanking this column out, I'm going to take a preliminary measurement just so that I can help remember how far the steering wheel was away from the dash. I'll just jot this down on my notebook before I pull it out. So from the edge of the dash, it's exactly a foot to the center of the wheel. So just for now, I'll snap a picture of it with my phone and we'll get that out. Stinks in my truck like popcorn. What the heck size bolt are these?
Because we're eating popcorn.
Oh, there we go. I had the wrong spot.
Oh, gosh. Jeez.
Got it.
What happened?
I got the column out. This is weird.
Did they put it there?
It's 3D printed, like, I don't understand, like Holley doesn't give you 3D printed ones. I wonder why they have that.
Those are like hardware screws on their outside.
Dude, my shift boot was held in with drywall screws.
Oh.
Yeah, fixing vehicles is fun. Oh, I found the fuse block. In case you guys blow a fuse, you just have to pull the dash off. Sick, bro. So if I remember right, I think I have to take this off first and then that. Yeah, see, this just pops out.
Okay.
And that pops out like that. Look at this. Might have to reinforce this a bit. What have we done? Let's pause that. Oh. Good lord. It's glued in. This thing's good.
I like how there's cup holders built in here.
Mm-hmm.
That's
When you go to the drive-in.
Yeah.
So now that all the dash is out, we can go ahead and put the column in or work on mounting the column. I took a little break in there and I designed the mounting system for the top of the column to mount it to the dash. So I made these that just make cardboard templates, and I took them to a fab shop and had this stuff made and welded onto the column for me. So the upper mount is welded on, and I went ahead and had that same fab shop cut this lower plate that I designed. And we'll go over the truck and I'll explain the lower plate. This is actually a bearing mount for the firewall, so it's going to mount the bottom of the column to the firewall. So let's check that out. The way that the columns are installed into all these OBS trucks is they're kind of an angle to the driver. So this end of the steering column is faced more inboard. I'm not going to do that. The seat brackets that I've got put me more centered in the truck or more centered on the wheel. So I'm going to straighten the column up. There's no detriment to doing that at all. It'll just make the installation of the column a lot better and a lot more centered on me and not feel weird when I'm driving. So this is an adapter plate that we made. In the future, if somebody buys these, they are going to have to move the hole. We had a hole right here for the column to come through, and I just shifted the hole this way, and I made it big enough to fit this entire bearing assembly in there. So you'll have to make marks and drill 1/4-inch holes in the firewall, but this will come powder coated, I'm sure. But again, this is just prototyping. This isn't saying this is really going to even be the final product, but now the bearing can mount to the firewall. So let's go ahead and install this and drop the column in. I think you guys will be happy with how this turned out.
We want to start.
Got that one in. You guys haven't met my buddy Taz yet, I don't think, but Taz is in the inside helping me today. Shameless plug, I'm using some of Level 7 Motorsports beauty washers. I'm on the passenger bottom.
Yeah. Why it's not driver's side bottom?
Passenger bottom.
Oh, can you give me support on driver's side bottom? They're all on except for that.
Okay. Driver bottom. Okay. Driver top. For now, I'm going to leave the bearing mounting bolts loose. That way the bearing can actually turn in here when we put the column in and lift it up. One of the design characteristics that I factored into this upper mount was dropping the overall column height out at the wheel quite a bit. I know that compared to stock, I'm probably going to sit at least 3 inches lower butt height in here. So it also being not tilt, it needs to come down. There will be an interference on the bottom cover of the dash. We'll have to cross that bridge when we get there. So I added, I think, exactly 1 inch to this mount height. So it's going to drop the wheel quite a bit out there. So we'll just have to kind of continue and see how my theory translates. And I'm sure a bunch of you are wondering what I'm going to do about turn signals or an ignition switch. That's all going to be on a CAN bus keypad. So there's not going to be any actual switches or buttons. It's just going to be on that little CAN bus keypad.
Are those factory mounts?
These are the factory mount locations. And it's interesting, if you guys look at my B-roll, you'll see that the hole pattern in the top of this had to be shifted because even the mount here on the cab is kind of like at an angle. So one of these bolts is closer to the firewall than the other. I have my steering wheel here, I just don't have the hub. The hub's on back quarter through, I did it. But you can see we got some hardcore race vibes going. Got a cool package in the mail today. This is something that I've been pretty excited about. That truck has a T56 in it from an F body, which is like, I think that one came out of a 98 or a 99 Camaro. So it really limits what shifters, like actually not the lever and the knob, but it limits what shifters you can buy. So I got one from TIC Performance. So what this does is this bolts to the transmission. There's a pattern on top of it so that I can spin the offset. So I can run like up to 3 inches of offset and then clock it all around so I can get that lever closer to me. Really cool product from TIC that I'm excited about. Got a brand new lever to go with it. And if you are a Honda fanboy at heart like me, you're going to recognize the cues from this Delrin knob. This looks just like a XL version of the Spoon Sports Delrin knob from back in the day. So super pumped to get this. So anyways, thank you, TIC. We'll get this right in the truck. So for time savings, I went ahead and installed the shifter out of the top of the transmission. When you do that, just remember to always put a thin layer of RTV on the top of the transmission so that it seals. The biggest asset to what we've got going on here is the ability to offset the shifter. So they've sent us 3 different offsets. I picked the longest one because I think that's where I want it to be. And for right now, I've got it set to about 8 o'clock position. I don't have my seat bracket yet, so I don't exactly know. So it's a little bit of a guess. Just by kind of sitting here on the floor, it feels like it might be a little bit far back. Now remember, this is a T56 out of an F-body Camaro, so these are already longer transmissions. But again, that's the beauty of the revolver shifter from TIC, is that if it is a little bit far back, all I got to do is put it, instead of the 8 o'clock position, I can take it to the 10 o'clock position. So I got the lever on and the offset. Again, this is the 10-inch lever, and this is their Delrin knob, which is a big throwback for me to the Spoon Sports knob of back in the day. I'm going to be sitting really low. If I guess that I'm right here, this is pretty comfortable. This is the least amount of distance for my hand to travel away from the wheel while I'm racing. But it might be a little bit far back. So anyways, when we get the seat bracket, we get the seat in, we'll dial it in perfect. But for right now, I'm super happy with the shifter. If you guys are interested in any more of the manual transmission products that they offer, check out their website. If you need any help from Level 7, you can email me or Alex. That's the shifter, and I'm pretty excited about it. Okay, that's going to be the end of this video. Maybe there wasn't a lot of content in this one, but you have a good idea of some of the things that we needed to change inside the truck just to get me more comfortable. We got the idea that column all mounted up. We got the new TIC Performance shifter. The seat mounting brackets are still being manufactured, and I'll have those in another video. So we'll do the seating position and harness bar and harnesses in a later video. But before we get to tearing 2 more things apart from this truck, I'm going to mock up in the next video our vintage air kit and some other parts that we've got from some of our other sponsors. But hope you guys are enjoying this content. If there's anything you want to see me dive a little deeper into, please comment below and tell me what it is. And if you guys are building an OBS truck this year, I want to know about that too. So anyways, thanks a lot. See you on the next one.